Hey, friends! OMG, you can do better than that. Hey, friends! Let's try one more time. Hey, friends! Okay, so guess what? Facebook went down again. And this headline is still trending. And don't get me wrong, I love Facebook. But this hashtag is still haunting them because one of the most recent outages took them 24 hours to fix and resolve fully. And avid fans ran to Twitter and LinkedIn just to get their social media fix. And guess who didn't know anything about this? Me. Because I have something called relationship currency. In the 21st century, relationship currency is the must thing to have. And it's a currency that is rooted in hi-fi, not Wi-Fi. Hi meaning hi, a hi that is built on in-person connection, built on the investments we make in people, and the one-on-one time we have with our customers, colleagues, family, and friends. It's a must, and it's different from technology currency. That currency is built from likes, loves, shares, and comments. And don't get me wrong, that type of currency is important because it has changed the way we communicate and connect. But if you don't have relationship currency built into your marketing strategy, you are doing things wrong. Because what happens if Facebook goes down again? If you don't believe me about relationship currency just yet, please take a ride on my memory train down my memory lane. Are you ready? Okay. So, in 2020, this was probably about 13 years after Wi-Fi was invented, I was having a quarter-life crisis. Has anyone ever been there? So if you have been there, you know exactly how I was feeling. I was melting down. It was terrible, friends, like really terrible. And what I learned through that quarter-life crisis was that I needed hi-fi. I needed people around me that can encourage me, inspire me with their stories, and people around me that could teach me a thing or two about love, leadership, happiness, and the like. And so, one day it hit me, I got it. I'm a Pisces, so I tend to daydream, and I was daydreaming about this goal of meeting 100 people in 100 days. And I was asking myself, can I really do this? And so, on August the 22nd of 2010, my 100 people in 100 day journey commenced. Connection number 22, Barbara. Barbara was a mother of 3 who was raised with humble beginnings, and she used to eat her favorite meal, which was cornbread and navy beans, and dream of owning her own Walgreens one day. Well, fast forward 20 years later, Barbara never owned that Walgreens, but she did work at Wendy's and Radio Shack. Then she became a world-renowned blogger, a speaker, you name it, and she started fundraising in the community and raised millions for children. Those children that she raised money for are now my mentees today because anytime Barbara calls, I always answer her plea. Connection number 46, Nat. Nat was a professor at the local university, and Nat studied people like me. He described us as Thrivals, a group of forward-thinking millennials who had a no-limits approach to doing business. Nat was also a futurist who had 2 kids. One was a musician and one was a consultant. So why is this information even important? Well, fast forward to 2017. I was at a conference similar to this one, in the audience listening to a consultant talk about health and well-being. And guess what? That lady looked a lot like Nat in his jeans. So after her presentation, I walked up to her and I said, "Hey friend, who's your dad?" I really did. And she looked at me with the weirdest look on her face, like you're looking at me now. And she said, his name is Nat, why do you ask? And I was like, I knew it, I know your dad. And so I told her about my 100 people and 100-day pass, and instantly we connected. And it was a relationship that has continued to last. Connection number 78, Vicky. Vicky was a consultant also, and she was also a life coach, and she had all of these assessments like life entrepreneurship, Myers-Briggs, StrengthsFinders, HBDI, a bird test, the color test, you name it. And during our connection, we talked a lot about life, love, happiness, and she gave me my own assessments to do, and I did every single one of them. I know what kind of bird I am, I know what kind of color I am. I am like an owl/peacock mixed with a little purple and green. It's a lovely thing. And here's the thing about Vicky. In 2016, when I decided to launch my own business, I used those same assessments. And when I started to write my own book, I used Vicky's book as a resource. Do you see how this connection thing is coming into fold? Connection number 81, John. At the time, John did community engagement for the Muhammad Ali Center and photography on the side. And within weeks of meeting me, he saw something in me and he didn't need a camera to see it. He said, hey kid, and I was not a kid, but okay. Hey kid, you're gonna be a brand one day, so you should go ahead and purchase that domain. Fast forward to today, I am a brand standing on this stage. John was right. And when we talked a few weeks ago, our connection felt like the connection of 2010. It was a connection that kept on giving. That is the power of hi-fi. Hi-fi stands the test of time. It's a connection in 2019 that people are wanting, people are yearning, and people are craving. It's a connection. And if you still don't believe me that this connection, hi-fi, is stronger than Wi-Fi, let's go back to January. This year in January of 2019, I had this crazy idea. I was going to launch a conference for 250 women in 8 weeks. Has anyone ever had crazy ideas? Well, luckily for me, my hi-fi team supported me. Let's just say I had never launched a conference and I didn't have any money. Has anyone ever tried to do something without money? It's not as easy peasy as you would think. But my hi-fi team came through for me. Do you remember that consultant from NYC I mentioned earlier? The one who had Nat's jeans? Well, I called her. I called some of my friends, and within 5 weeks, I had 12 speakers, 10 sponsors, $30,000, a space, a place, and 250 women signed up to attend my conference. I did that because of hi-fi. And if you still don't believe in the power of hi-fi, think about this very conference. When Perry Drake launched MDMC, he did not launch it digitally. He used his hi-fi team to grow this conference from a conference that was in the Midwest to the best darn marketing conference, period. And you, all of you, yes, you can clap for that. All of you are a part of that. And here's the thing. Perry and I are not the only ones that subscribe to this hi-fi model. There's companies out there that are starting to really get into it. Bumble is one of them. And for those that don't know Bumble is a location-based dating and social app, and they are starting to hire community marketing managers to plan monthly events in their communities. Monthly events with one goal, just to promote and encourage in-person connection. Because Bumble understands if they get people together in a space to make real connection offline, they can get people answering real questions in real time and building real relationships that they can then take pictures of, put it on Facebook and social media, so then everyone wants to be a part of that thing. But they're doing that offline. In addition to Bumble, other companies are dabbling in this as well. Bizaboo, which is an event planner tool, says that from 2017 to 2018, the amount of events that companies are having has increased 17%, which in my book is not enough. I feel like we should be connecting 80%, but that's just my thoughts on it. 17%, which says companies are starting to understand that offline connection is just as, if not more important than online connection. So my question for you, how are you going to increase your currency? How are you going to increase the relationships you build offline to support your online marketing strategies? If you haven't thought of that yet, I'm going to give you 4 ways to think through it. Way number 1, H. I want you to hide your phone. And I'm serious, hide it. We have gotten so used to connecting with people on screens that we don't even know what it feels like to have a genuine, authentic relationship and connection. How many times have you been in a place and space with someone and you have texted each other back and forth? I know you've done it, so don't act like you haven't. I just did it with my husband last week. And I found myself being like, oh my gosh, like we're sitting right next to each other and we're having a whole conversation via text. So hide your phone. Get back to in-person, face-to-face, one-on-one connectedness. Understand and learn what that's all about. Go back old school. Number 2, I want you to invest. I want you to invest time, money, preferably both, into a relationship currency strategy, one that supports your digital marketing strategy. Number 3, F, I want you to find. I want you to find companies and individuals that do relationship currency well. And if you haven't figured it out, I am one of them. Number 4, I want you to ignore. I want you to ignore the urge to go back to the old way, because curating and cultivating relationships is time-consuming and exhausting. Believe you me, every week I put 2 hours on my calendar just to sit and call people. I know, it sounds like dinosaurs, right? But I do it. And the return is huge. It's a return that's going to make you second guess the next time you want to bury your face in a screen. So that is my plea. My plea is for you to increase your relationship currency. And if you still aren't feeling what I'm putting down, I want you to do an activity with me. Everyone pull out your phone. This is not rhetorical. Pull it out. Pull out your phone, and I want you to high-five your phone. High-five your phone. Now I want you to think about how silly that feels. Right? But that's the type of connection we're asking people to do on a consistent basis. Connect with technology. Now, I want you to look at the person to the left of you, if you have someone to the left of you. And I want you to high-five them, too. Do you see and hear the difference in the energy? How did that type of connection feel? Amazing. And if you're anything like me, it felt real because it was a real connection. And in the great words of Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, ain't nothing like a real thing, baby, right? And I can't sing, God didn't bless me with that gift. But I can say the words, ain't nothing like a real thing. But time and time again, we try to replace relationship currency with technology currency. And they can't be replaced. The two are not the same. One should support the other. ain't nothing like the real thing. So before I leave the stage today, I want to encourage you to infuse and include in-person connection strategies into your digital marketing strategies. It is real. And by doing so, we can make marketing real again. Thank you.